cards here. I have Brandon today, and he played something a little bit of an oldie but a goodie, and it's randomly good this format. I'm going to let you guys look at the shirt first, and then we'll go ahead and let him get on into it here and see what you play today, Brandon.
Well, the mat kind of gives it away. I played True Draco. True Draco is one of my favorite decks from the old days. It's what I've gotten, I think, most of my invites with.
2022.
Some version of it. And it's always fun. It's always fun for me. It's not usually fun for my opponents.
Not fun for your opponent, no.
If you give me back my diagrams and my masterpiece, I'll stop playing floodgates and play Invoked. But Invoked Draco. But until then, you have to deal with this version. So I start off playing 3 Dynamite. He's back at 3. He's another body. He gets you your traps so you can pop your opponent's stuff on their turn. And also, Apocalypse is having attack effect is really good.
Yeah.
Helps keep these guys alive. So 3 Dynamite's good. Playing 3 Ignis also. You want to get access to your spells, keep your engine going, so that way you can recycle. There were a few times today where I ran out of traps with Dynamite, and I was like, well, crap, I really need to draw Disciples to cycle, so 3 Ignis is good. 2 Maiden, mostly just because you have a couple different ways to get to your monsters, and she doesn't give you as much value necessarily. You still need other cards to pair with whatever she searches.
Gotcha.
So, plus you also don't want to brick on too many monsters with Demise. And then the Honorary Draco Inspector Border, confusing as hell to read. Everyone hates this card.
The text is just terrible.
Yes, it's poorly worded, but it's very effective. I know some people are playing a mono instead of this, but
you can play that in mono in just a total hate deck.
You should not play both of them. You will brick like a motherfucker.
True.
Because you can't summon this while you have something else already, another monster phase up on the field. You cannot do that. So you're better off just playing. I like this because it sticks to the board. A mono bounces itself back unless you have Mystic Mine up, but that's just, I don't know. You're asking for 2 cards. This just sets up, and some decks it just says no. Tier wants Diffuse? No. Dangers want to activate? No. If they can't get one of the types on the board, they can't do anything, and it can just win you games. So I think Border's crazy.
Half the battle is understanding the text of that card
when
it summons it.
Pretty much. So then that's all the monsters. There's 11 monsters. I don't play Metaltron. It's just too much for too little.
11 monsters, and now the rest is hate. Just lots of hate.
No, some of them are spells. Like obviously you play your 3 Heritage, your 3 Disciples. Recycling is great. You draw 2 or 3 off this is nutty. They're just good. They get you your extra summons. That's pretty standard. Your field spell package. Obviously, you're playing Diagram. It's at 1.
Sad.
Sucks, but you got to play it while you got it. So obviously, you're playing Diagram. I'm playing 2 Domain because try to summon something from the extra deck. I dare you.
Yeah,
it's good. It also. I mean, it comes up there. It buffs your Dracos to get over bigger monsters, so you can punch over 3K monsters without having to worry about cutting them in half or whatever. So it's good. Again, won me my tier match today. Locked my opponent out of the extra deck. Last Tuesday went 3-1 also. Locked the hero player out. He had nothing. He's like, Fusion Destiny? I'm like, no. So,
most people don't play main deck background destruction, and they should because Mystic Mine's a card. You would think they would.
Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. I'm playing the 1 mine. It's super easy for the deck to out. It almost never hurts me. I didn't see it at all today, and you could theoretically play more, but then you might start bricking on it, and because you do.
I hate that card.
Mine on its own isn't going to last forever, so not to mention going first. If all you can do is activate mine, well, it's going to kill itself. So it's all right. I maybe would play 2 if I had another one, but for right now, I think 1's fine. And then obviously terraforming
to search for your awesome field spells.
Yeah.
Of hate.
Consistency cards, Demise.
Really?
Demise and not good Demise.
Oh yeah, I forgot this deck played. It's been so long since I've actually looked at this deck. That's right, it does play Demise.
Yeah, I mean Demise is the craziest thing you can ever do is open Border, Demise, and a bunch of spells and traps you can set. Then you just summon Border. If you got first, they can't ash you because there's nothing on their board. You just activate this, you get to draw for 3 cards for free.
Demise is at 3 still, isn't it?
No, Demise is at 1.
Oh, that's right. Pot's at 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just play 1 and 1 then?
I play 1. Yeah. For the longest time, I was adamant that I would not play the Desires in this deck because you can't win. It kills your grind game. And I tried not to activate it if I can help it, like early on.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's the 2 cards, if they're the right floodgates or if they're a judgment in games 2 and 3, it could win you the game. So it is worth it. A lot of decks these days, if you lock them out for a turn or two, they're just gonna. You should be able to win by that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are those two. You're also playing 2 duality.
Oh yeah.
I don't.
You don't special really.
Well, you don't special on your turn at least. You can with return on your opponent's turn. I don't play 3 just because the last thing you ever want to do is open 2 of these, because then you have to make every card count in this deck as it is.
Yeah.
And if you open 2 of these, you're just like, well, crap. So
yeah.
2's fine.
Or if you duality into the second one, it kind of sucks too.
Well, yeah, but you still have 2 other options to pick from. So,
True.
I mean, if you're ever picking the duality after duality, I don't know what you're doing with your life. One I've called by because hand traps are bad. Playing this at 1, it has its uses. It's tribute one of your Dracos to negate a card on the field, draw a card.
Yeah.
I would probably, again, this is a card I would probably look at playing maybe more of. Just playing more of in the main if I had them. I don't have them, or if I do, I can't find them. But it's pretty good. It's a good way to stop lightning storms, evenlies, whatever, and just other effects going off. So, and it replaces itself drawing a card.
So it recycles.
Yeah. So it's not bad. Like I said, I would probably play 1 other copy, but that not more than that. You could also cut it for something else if you really wanted to, though. But I think it's fine. That's the spells. Traps, obviously, you're playing 2 Apocalypse. Or 3 Apocalypse, 2 Return. You could play a 3rd Return, but the special summon effect just isn't relevant anymore without Masterpiece. If you decided you wanted to try making Metaltron work, then you could play 3 of these, but you'd also probably be better off playing Crackdown to take your opponent's stuff to contribute. But yeah, they're good. I mean, halves your opponent's monster's attacks, keeps your monsters alive. That's how I won with this in time, actually, because the other guy was playing Dragon Link. He didn't realize that I had another traps. He didn't realize I had the return set, but this was face up. He attacks Magnamut into my Ignis, flip this, have it, win in time. So gotcha. They're both, and then they pop stuff. They're good. Like, it's pretty standard to play those. 2 Erupt and 1 Skill Drain. This, I would rather see this, but sometimes you need this if you don't have a Tribute Summon monster, but it turns off your Dracos, which is your main advantage engine, so it kind of sucks. This also turns off your border, so you gotta be careful about it when you activate it, because it might shut some of their on-field effects off.
They can out the border then.
Yeah, it'll put everything in their hand and grave online, so you gotta be careful. I think these ratios are fine for this. I mean, you could probably play around with them if you wanted to, but I think they work for me, so Skill Drain package. The reason I started playing this deck again, D-Barrier. Branded and Tier Elements.
Fusion. And Pendulums now that are coming out again.
Yeah. Most, like, Links, I mean, there's some Tri-Brigade running around, and there's and Dragon Link, but you can usually deal with those anyway. So, but D-Barrier on a tier or branded player, just like D-Barrier, Fusion, they pass. They can't do anything. Or nothing worthwhile, so I think this card's really good right now.
It's a very cringy moment when you play that deck against it.
Yeah, and if you happen to run into a player where this isn't any good, side it out. It's 3 easy side cards then.
Yep.
So I think it's really good mained. It was good today. And then lastly, I'm playing 2 Compulse just because there's not as many
non-targeting cards.
Well, I feel like there's not as many cards that have targeting protection, and there's not as many cards that really negate traps as much more. I mean, like Carrot and Sprite, but
yeah,
usually by the time you're using this, Carrot's not on the field anymore.
Well, and that's also good for Exo Sisters, because if you send back the second monster they have for the XYZ, they can't finish the turn for it.
So it screws with the Exo Sisters. You just bounce whatever kind of boss they're looking at you with, or even you use it to bait. Today I used it to bait Toad against somebody else, and then
that's good.
And then that way I could get my D-Barrier and Erupt off. So I think it's just a really good card. They put all their cards into doing something, and you just like put it back in your hand. I don't want it. Especially if you hit an extra deck card, then they don't even get it back in their hand, and they put it back in their extra deck, obviously.
Yep.
So that's the deck. It's 41 main. Again, you could probably play with some of the ratios, probably play with some of the floodgates or trap cards you're playing if you wanted to change it around, which I think that's pretty much what my side deck is. So side deck, I mean, kind of divided somewhat into alternative going first cards and going second cards. So Soul Drain, again, for a lot of matchups.
I was just going to ask you if you were playing those.
Yeah, it's really good.
Does it hurt your deck to play 3 of those, if you were to play 3? Because it hurts the format tremendously with tier.
Not really. I mean, it's just monsters that it stops, so it wouldn't bother your spells and traps at all. So you could play 3 if you wanted to. I'm only playing the 1 right now, so
yeah.
It's, again, you could bump it. You don't
have to.
Yeah. There can be only one.
There can be only fun.
There can be only fun. One of the good floodgates, again, Dragon Link shuts it off. Just a lot, basically any deck that plays a lot, it just shuts it off. You can even potentially use it as a board breaker. I know that was more common the last time this deck was played, because you flip this first, they try to negate it, and then you go with your skill drain, or if you're playing strike, you can strike it, and then this resolves, and they have to send a bunch of their stuff to the grave. Yeah, I think it's a really good card. It's good for stopping plays from even developing before they do. Summon limit is.
It's a very good card, this format.
This is only this is in the side for when I know I'm going first, though, because otherwise,
late game it doesn't do much.
Yeah,
if they already have an established board.
Late game or going second, yeah, it does nothing at that point unless you're making them try to do something else. So, and then of course 3 judgment, because Lightning Storm and Evenly are bad, and so is Feather Duster. So you don't want to get hit by those. That'll kill your deck. That's how I lost the 1 game today. The 1 round today, Flunderies just had
Double
Lightning Storm. So I was like, well, crap. So, because I judgmented 1, he hit me with the second one. So, but yeah, judgment's good. Careful in time though, you'll get yourself a loss with that. So then the rest is going second stuff, which I would probably change some. So 2 Imperm, 2 Dark Ruler, and 2 Stormforth. Stormforth helps you remove problem cards, helps you stop your opponent before they build their board, and helps them just make their board weak to stuff. I would probably change these and maybe some. I would probably take these out and put in Lightning Storms or Evenlys for those, and then maybe put the other one in for the summon limits, because I mean, with everything else you have, you don't really need summon limit. It's just an extra floodgate. Or you could even potentially cut the compulses if you wanted to, main these for going first or second because they're good either way. Yep. And then play 2 Evenly, 2 Lightning Storm for break the board. Especially if you hit this, stop the whole board, and then Lightning Evenly to clear it out. That's fine. But I think this has worked for me so far. Like I said, I could do some tinkering with it, but I also have to pull some cards out of some other decks, which I don't want to do right now.
Dark Ruler is still really good with that deck because it lets you establish a board after they have already got their crap.
Well, yeah, I mean Dark Ruler and they don't take damage. Who cares? You're not killing anybody right away with Draco. The big thing is to shut them down and just beat them to death slowly over turns.
It's a grind game.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Again, that's why I don't like Desires necessarily, because it kills your grind, but sometimes it's a necessary evil.
And no extra deck at all.
No, extra deck now. Okay. Not with Erupt and Domain in the deck. Yeah, so that's the deck. It worked really well for me today. I can't really say I ever bricked. It was usually just